The story of the United States. The United States of America was forged in revolution during the 18th century. Within 200 years, it grew from scattered colonies into a global superpower, victorious in 2 world wars and a leader on the world stage. But the roots of America's story stretch back thousands of years before independence. Before the colonies, long before Europeans crossed the Atlantic, North America was home to diverse native civilizations. Archaeologists believe the first peoples arrived over 10,000 years ago, crossing a land bridge from Asia during the Ice Age. Over centuries, they spread across the continent, adapting to its vast landscapes. Some cultures flourished into advanced societies. The Mississippi mound builders created cities and ceremonial centers. In the Southwest, the Pueblo people constructed multi-story stone dwellings. In the Northeast, the Iroquois Confederacy united several nations under a democratic council, an idea that would echo centuries later in the U.S. Constitution. European exploration and colonization. The Age of Exploration began after the fall of Constantinople in 1453, when Europe lost its main trade route to Asia. Searching for a new path, Christopher Columbus sailed west in 1492, reaching the Caribbean. His voyages, followed by others from Spain, Portugal, France, and the Netherlands, opened the New World to Europe. Colonization followed quickly. Spain dominated the Caribbean, Florida, and vast stretches of South America. France built its empire in Canada and along the Mississippi River, trading furs and seeking to convert native peoples. The Dutch founded New Netherland along the Hudson River, later seized by the English and renamed New York. By 1607, England had established Jamestown, Virginia. Tobacco cultivation made the colony profitable, but demanded labor, first through indentured servants and later enslaved Africans. As more English colonies grew along the Atlantic coast, conflict with native tribes and rival European powers intensified. The road to revolution. By the mid-1700s, Britain controlled most of North America, but victory in the French and Indian War left the crown deeply in debt. To recover, it imposed taxes on the colonies, on sugar, paper, glass, and tea. Colonists protested. No taxation without representation. Clashes escalated. In 1770, British soldiers killed 5 colonists in the Boston Massacre. In 1773, patriots disguised as Native Americans dumped British tea into Boston Harbor. Britain cracked down with harsh measures, sending more troops. In April 1775, shots were fired at Lexington and Concord. The American Revolution had begun. Independence and nationhood. The Continental Congress appointed George Washington to lead the army. Against great odds, the colonies fought Britain with the crucial support of France and Spain. Victories at Saratoga and Yorktown turned the tide. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris recognized the independence of the United States. The new nation drafted the Constitution in 1787, establishing a system of government based on checks and balances. In 1789, George Washington became the first president. The Bill of Rights soon guaranteed freedoms of speech, religion, and assembly, principles at the heart of American democracy. Expansion and division. The 19th century was defined by expansion. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the nation's size. Explorers Lewis and Clark charted the new territory, mapping rivers, mountains, and native nations. The belief in manifest destiny, that America was destined to span from the Atlantic to the Pacific, drove settlers westward. But expansion came at a terrible cost to native peoples. The Indian Removal Act of the 1830s forced tribes from their lands, leading to the Trail of Tears, where thousands died on forced marches. Conflict also grew over slavery. The North industrialized while the South relied on enslaved labor. When Abraham Lincoln was elected in 1860, Southern states seceded. The Civil War erupted in 1861. The war was brutal. More than 600,000 lives were lost. But in 1863, Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation declared freedom for millions of enslaved people. 2 years later, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered. Slavery was abolished with the 13th Amendment, but the wounds of war and racial injustice remained. A rising power. By the late 1800s, the U.S. expanded overseas. Victory in the Spanish-American War brought control of Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines, while Cuba came under American influence. The Panama Canal, completed in 1914, symbolized America's growing reach. The 20th century brought new challenges. The The U.S. joined World War I in 1917, tipping the balance toward Allied victory. After a decade of prosperity in the Roaring Twenties, the Great Depression devastated the economy. World War II tested the nation again. After Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941, the U.S. mobilized its vast resources. American soldiers fought across Europe, Africa, and the Pacific. In 1945, the war ended after the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. America emerged as one of two global superpowers: the Cold War and civil rights. For the next 4 decades, the U.S. and the Soviet Union waged the Cold War. Though they never fought directly, they competed in arms races, proxy wars, and space exploration. In 1969, America celebrated a triumph. Apollo 11 landed the first humans on the moon. At home, the struggle for civil rights reshaped society. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks challenged segregation and racial injustice. Through marches, speeches, and protests, the movement won landmark victories, including the Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act. America in the modern world. The late 20th and early 21st centuries brought both progress and tragedy. On September 11, 2001, terrorist attacks struck New York and Washington, D.C., killing thousands. The event reshaped U.S. foreign policy and marked the beginning of new global conflicts. Today, the United States remains a world leader, militarily, economically, and culturally. Its companies drive global innovation. Its universities attract students from across the world. Its influence, both admired and criticized, continues to shape the modern era. But the American story is still being written. It is a history of ambition and resilience, of conflict and reconciliation, of ideals tested and renewed. From its earliest native peoples to its place as a superpower, the United States has always been a nation defined by struggle, hope, and the pursuit of freedom.